You've been told that building wealth requires sacrifice, discipline, and years of grinding through budgets and investment strategies. Meanwhile, there's a group of people getting richer while barely thinking about money at all. They're not smarter, they don't work harder, and they're definitely not more disciplined than you. The difference isn't what they do, it's how their brains are wired to handle money automatically. Here's what nobody tells you about wealth building. Your conscious mind is actually sabotaging your financial progress. Every time you try to budget, save more, or invest better, you're fighting against neural pathways that have been programmed to keep you exactly where you are. But there's a psychological trick that bypasses this resistance entirely, making wealth accumulation as automatic as breathing. I'm going to show you 3 small steps that work with your brain's natural patterns instead of against them. These aren't more tasks to add to your day. They're systems that remove financial decisions from your conscious mind completely. By the end of this video, you'll understand why small, automated actions create more wealth than any amount of willpower ever could. Your brain has a built-in security system called Identity Homeostasis, and it's designed to keep you behaving exactly like the person you've always been. When it comes to money, this system is ruthlessly efficient at maintaining your current financial status, regardless of your conscious goals or desires. Every time you try to change your financial behavior, your brain interprets this as a threat to your core identity. If you've always been someone who lives paycheck to paycheck, your subconscious mind will sabotage any attempt to become someone who builds wealth. It's not personal, it's neurological. Your brain literally cannot distinguish between a genuine threat to your survival and a threat to your familiar patterns. This is why traditional budgeting fails at such a spectacular rate. When you sit down to track every expense and force yourself to spend less, you're asking your conscious mind to overpower millions of years of evolutionary programming. Your brain responds by creating what I call financial resistance, subtle psychological pressure that makes you abandon your new habits within weeks. The neural pathways that control your money decisions were carved deep through years of repetition. Every time you've made a financial choice, whether good or bad, you've strengthened specific connections in your brain. These pathways become so automatic that you're not even aware they're running your financial life. You think you're making conscious decisions, but you're actually following scripts that were written years ago. Wealthy people don't have better willpower or more discipline. They have different neural pathways. Their brains have been conditioned to view saving and investing as natural, automatic responses rather than painful sacrifices. They've learned to work with their psychology instead of fighting against IT. Here's where most people get stuck. They try to change their financial behaviors while keeping their financial identity intact. They want to save more money while still thinking of themselves as someone who struggles with money. They want to invest regularly while maintaining the belief that investing is complicated and risky. This creates an internal war that willpower can never win. The solution isn't to fight your current financial identity. It's to strategically disappear from IT. Real transformation happens when you create a vacuum where your old money patterns used to be. Then, allow new patterns to fill that space naturally. This isn't about forcing change. It's about removing the obstacles that prevent change from happening automatically. Your brain craves consistency above all else. When you understand this principle, you can use it to your advantage. Instead of trying to become disciplined with money, you can create systems that make wealth building the path of least resistance. The goal isn't to develop better financial habits. It's to make wealth accumulation so automatic that it happens without any conscious effort at all. The most powerful psychological principle in wealth building is making your financial decisions invisible to your conscious mind. When you remove the need to think about money on a daily basis, you eliminate the mental friction that destroys most people's financial progress. This isn't about developing discipline, it's about making discipline irrelevant. Your brain can only handle a limited number of decisions each day before it starts taking shortcuts and making poor choices. This is called decision fatigue, and it's why you can stick to a budget for a few days, but then find yourself making impulse purchases by the weekend. Every time you have to consciously decide whether to save money or spend it, you're draining your mental resources. The solution is environmental design that removes these decisions entirely. Instead of relying on willpower to save money, you create systems that automatically move money out of your reach before you can spend it. Instead of trying to remember to invest, you set up transfers that happen without your input. The goal is to make wealth building so seamless that it operates below your conscious awareness. Here's how this works in practice. Wealthy people don't budget. They automate. They don't rely on discipline to invest. They create systems that invest for them. They understand that the human brain is terrible at making consistent financial decisions. So, they remove themselves from the equation as much as possible. The key is creating what I call wealth friction, making it harder to spend money than to save it. Most people have their finances set up backwards. Spending is easy and automatic, while saving requires conscious effort and planning. You need to flip this equation, make saving automatic and spending require deliberate action. This means setting up your financial environment so that money flows toward wealth building by default. Your paycheck should be automatically divided into different accounts before you even see it. Your investment contributions should happen before you have a chance to think about them. Your savings should be moved to accounts that aren't easily accessible for impulse purchases. The compound effect of removing micro decisions from your financial life is staggering. When you're not constantly deciding whether to save or spend, whether to invest or wait, whether to stick to your budget or break it, you free up enormous amounts of mental energy. This energy can then be directed toward activities that actually increase your income, rather than just managing the money you already have. Small, automated actions outperform large, conscious efforts because they're sustainable. You can force yourself to save a large amount of money for a few months, but eventually, your willpower will break down. However, you can automatically save a small amount forever without any mental strain. Over time, the small automated amount will always win because it compounds without interruption. Step 1 is identity reset through strategic disappearance from financial stress. This means removing yourself from situations where you have to make difficult money decisions. Instead of trying to develop better spending habits, you eliminate opportunities to spend impulsively. You don't shop for entertainment. You don't browse online stores when you're bored, and you don't carry credit cards for non-essential purchases. The goal isn't to restrict yourself. It's to create space where new financial patterns can develop naturally. When you're not constantly fighting the urge to spend money, your brain stops viewing saving as a sacrifice. This psychological shift is crucial because it allows wealth building to feel natural rather than forced. Step 2 is environmental automation that makes wealth building the path of least resistance. This is where you set up the systems that move money automatically. Your paycheck gets divided into predetermined amounts for different purposes before you see it. Investment contributions happen on the same day you get paid. Bills are automated so you never have to think about them. The key is making these systems so comprehensive that you rarely handle money directly. Most of your financial life should run on autopilot, with only major decisions requiring your conscious input. This isn't about being lazy. It's about recognizing that automation is more reliable than human consistency. Step 3 is compound leverage through invisible, systematic wealth accumulation. Once your automated systems are running, they start to compound not just financially but psychologically. Each month that passes without you having to think about money reinforces your new identity as someone who builds wealth naturally. These 3 steps work together to create exponential rather than linear growth. Linear growth happens when you consciously try to save more each month or invest larger amounts through willpower. Exponential growth happens when your systems compound automatically while you focus on other things. Here's a specific example. Instead of trying to save $500 a month, through budgeting and discipline, you automatically transfer $50 from each paycheck to a high-yield savings account you never see. You don't miss the money because it's gone before you can spend it, and you don't have to make the decision twice a month. After a year, you've saved $1,200 without thinking about it once. The system overcomes common obstacles automatically because it doesn't rely on your mood, motivation, or memory. It works when you're stressed, when you're busy, when you're distracted, and when you're dealing with other life challenges. Traditional approaches to wealth building fall apart during difficult times because they require constant mental energy. Automated systems continue running regardless of what else is happening in your life. Real wealth comes from systems that work without you, not from willpower that works against you. Start with automating just one small financial decision this week, whether it's a savings transfer or an investment contribution. Once you see how effortless it becomes, you'll understand why this approach creates lasting results. Subscribe for the next video, where I'll show you the advanced psychology techniques that accelerate this process even further.